What's going on, Soul Nation, and welcome to another No Rest for the Wicked video. I'm smiling ear to ear because today we actually have some screenshots of multiplayer in action, and I believe this is actually an incredibly good sign for the game and for the update, and we're going to talk about that and its potential release impacts here in just a second. We're also going to dive into the latest update. So alongside this news and information, the devs have released a Hotfix, probably is the correct term, thus updating some of the current build of the game. So I'm going to go through the patch notes. We haven't had a patch notes video on this game in a little while, so it's going to be fun to cover that, and then we'll wrap up as we usually do with our message of hope for those of you who guys would like to stick around for that. Let's get to business. First and foremost, Carol is tweeting out 3 Cherim versus 1 Warwick. Yes, Moon Game Studios are very actively working on multiplayer for Wicked the game. Also, so many other things, but the game plays so much better already. And if we dive into those screenshots that he shares, you see various different Cherim all around a campfire. You do have a couple of names, one name not being displayed, one displayed in white and the other in red. All right, if we go into the second screenshot, you see another person with the pans for sale, this time with the green name tag. You then see Oren here with the red name tag, and I'm told that there's a third Cherim. Maybe it's this one person right next to him. Ultimately, time will tell, but you can see them obviously fighting off with Warwick. Now, over on the Discord, Jeremy also shared these out. He says 3 Cherim versus 1 Warwick, and then he also says, when asked, we can blame Steve for these leaked 2 images of multiplayer. So that in and of itself, it was just too funny not to share. And then he finally kind of wraps up his messages over on the Discord, saying the game already feels so much better to play. Lots of small improvements and changes. It all really adds up, and we will keep on going. So much to do. So based off of this update alone, based off of the fact that they're starting to give us screenshots, that's starting to project confidence, and they're starting to definitely hone in on this date. Now, as we entered into November, I was hoping and predicting that we might see an update at the end of October based off of what they have said previously. Obviously, you might know it's not October, and the update really, and I'm not going to count the hotfix as the update. So I still owe you guys 5 gifted members. So in the next live stream, we're going to be hanging out, and I'll gift those out to you guys for that. I like to put a little bit of money, my own little money on the line when I make these predictions, so they're not all just willy-nilly. But let me talk about like the elephant in the room in this case, because I don't have a lot of confidence that November is going to be the month. I would love to be wrong, and I'd love to see it in November, but based off of the screenshots, based off of the fact that it's been quiet on the home front for the most part, I'm thinking we're going to start seeing the machine spin up with more updates from the team, and most likely we'll be looking at either a December or a January release. Now remember, they want to do some marketing behind this upcoming release. It's going to not only add in multiplayer, but double the content, maybe more than that, of the game itself. So this is a pretty substantial lift, and when we get a release date, that's going to be very telling, and we'll talk about it, and we'll be sure to cover it here for you guys. Speaking of that, if you guys do enjoy ARPG Souls-like, No Rest for the Wicked, if you like the upcoming game, Light No Fire, I'm also really enjoying Monster Hunter Wilds. I've been playing in the open beta. We'll be covering all that here for you. If you do feel like I earn your sub sound off below, the sub button is somewhere. And if you do find it, sound off so I can welcome you officially to the channel, just like these 3 incredible people. Also, huge thanks on my last video. At the time of this recording, it's already at 50,000 views. Absolutely stunning. I do appreciate the support as well as the conversation being had on that video. And over 1,200 likes. Now, 80% seems pretty reasonable, especially when you were talking about some of the hot topics going on in gaming. One thing I always want to encourage is actually more conversation, not less conversation, less thought control, and more honest, open dialogue. And not everybody agrees or likes that, and that's perfectly fine. But if that's the case, I don't know why you've made it already into how far into this video we are. Anyway, I'm obviously on cloud 9. I'm so excited. Now, In regards to the update, Carol over on Discord says it's not a huge update yet, but hopefully you guys will enjoy the fixes. So I think it's a perfect time to transition into our patch notes for hotfix number 3 for the Crucible update. So Kuro kicks us off. While our team is really hard at work on big features and content updates, we wanted to keep improving your Wicked experience. And so we're dropping a hotfix with a few important balance changes, graphics and performance adjustments, and a number of significant bug fixes. Thank you all for the continued feedback and support, and we can't wait to finally be able to share more on the future updates. We hope this hotfix improves your Wicked experience in the meantime. Make sure you join the Wicked Discord server for sneak peeks and early drops of info. Yes, absolutely. It's a really fun place to be if you guys are interested in hanging out over there. All right, known issues. We are aware of an existing issue where loading gets stuck at the moon logo or black screen if vertical sync on NVIDIA Control 3D panel settings is set to fast sync. We are also working on identifying a permanent fix, but in the meantime, please set vertical sync to use 3D application setting, the global setting, or specifically for No Rest for the Wicked program settings in the NVIDIA control panel to bypass this issue. We've also identified an existing crash on the Crucible update that occurs when repeatedly interacting with Radigan in his cage with the fallback line, "Not another word from me until there is no iron between us," and they're working on a fix. In performance updates, they improved the accuracy and performance of GPU calling. They fixed GPU frame time measure that has caused issues with dynamic resolution scaling. For graphics, they've improved the quality of ambient occlusion on decals. For the balance, they nerfed the Echo Knight's hit points by 33% based off of community feedback. That actually was really surprising. Like, that feels like a significant amount. I don't feel like I've struggled with the Echo Knight recently, but maybe that, maybe a lot of people are struggling with him. My main issue is we're still not getting XP from the Crucible, and if they did that, that would be freaking sweet. Anyway, Warwick the Torn can no longer be pushed off the arena cliff as easily. For troubleshooting, they've added a disable backtrace launch option to potentially help certain players experience a crash on launch. And then we've got several bug fixes here. They fixed attack speed enchantment, causing pig sticker and claymore attacks to end early and breaking hit boxes. They fixed health, stamina, and focus being able to be overbuffed by stacking buffs from different sources at once. They fixed damage increase at full focus and focus gain enchantments not activating. They fixed enemies going on skating or ice skating when frozen, no longer keeps velocity when frozen. They improved stability for enemy spawners. They fixed sirens not spawning minions. They fixed enemies respawning immediately instead of when the fog returns. They fixed input delay when contributing items for challenges. They fixed bounty map markers not showing the name label. They fixed incorrect gib visual or death spike echoes. And they fixed half resolution transparency breaking for FSR, causing artifacts for certain effects. And they reduced popping during cinematics. All right, that's the notes. Like I said, a simple, nice, and beautiful little hotfix for our day. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the game. I'm working on trying to cap off my mage. Hopefully I will be getting that done soon. But like I said, I've been jumping into a handful of games recently. Anyway, guys, this wraps us up for the video game informational portion of your journey here with me today. We're going to swap into the message of hope. We like to do these at the end of the videos for those of you out there who, like me, have suffered with anxiety, depression, and it's a focus in on your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health. Welcome to your virtual men's group for those of you out there. Ladies are also welcome to stick around, but when we look at the numbers, we are definitely well men focused in this case. I want to open up with a quote from G.K. Chesterton, who says, "The true soldier fights not because he hates what is in front of him, but because he loves what is behind him." And I think this is something very important for our times. And when we talk about fighting, it doesn't actually always have to even mean physical fighting. We're all at war. There's a war even within ourselves, against our own selfish desires, against our own failings. But I want to encourage you today to give yourself a modicum of grace. Not that you don't need to work on yourself. I need to work on myself. This isn't a judgment call. It's just a statement of fact. We're called to constantly enter into this cycle of focus, refinement, suffering, refinement, and this loop continues forward. But what I want to tell you today is not to use this fact to beat yourself up, to use it to light a fire under your ass and get into gear. The world needs you. You might not realize this, and whether you're a Christian or not, it doesn't matter. But one of the real realities is that as a Christian, I can tell you, God made you for right now. He could have made you 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 1,000 years from now, but he made you for today. And the biggest thing we have to do, especially as men, is to die to ourselves. That means we do the things that people don't want to do, not because we want to do them, but because they need to get done. And this is something that, and the reason why I wanted to bring up that quote at the start of it is that it doesn't start with the mountain. You know, let's say you're like, hey, I need to go climb a mountain. All right, you do you. But it doesn't actually start with the mountain. It starts with getting off the couch. It starts with taking that first step. If you've never heard the phrase, how do you eat an elephant? Well, the answer is one bite at a time. I am very guilty of being frustrated at myself because I look at the things that I have to accomplish on a wider, grander scale, and I miss the forest from the trees. I don't focus in on what are the steps that are going to get me there. What are the steps that are going to get me healthy? What are the steps that I need to do to improve my life? What are the steps do I need to do to get out of debt? If you break them up into reasonable, achievable milestones, you can use those milestones to become fuel for the fire that is in your heart. The things that you desire, the things that you want to be, the vision of yourself that you wish was, rather than the vision of the self that you beat yourself up because you're not living up to that ideal. So what I want to encourage you today is make a plan, find something to focus in on, and work that plan. And when things go awry, look at the plan and see if it needs to be changed. And if it doesn't need to be changed, and we've just had setbacks, because setbacks are an absolute fact on these journeys of self-improvement, continue to keep getting back on that horse. I played baseball. I bring it up as an analogy a lot because it is an important aspect of life. You will fail more than you succeed in baseball. In fact, the best baseball players fail 70% of the time. And when we look at our heroes, when we look at the people who've done things in their lives, when we look up to other people, we do tend to only see the things that they won, not all the failures that led them to that point. But what made them eventual winners is they never gave up. They just learned from their failures, reapplied, readapted, and got back in and continued on. Now, I don't know your specific situation, but there's something that you can do. I don't know what it is. Only you do. But don't make it impossible. Break it up into manageable chunks, and and just work the plan. And I'm rooting for you. And if you need encouragement, well, that's what these sections are for in the video. If you're struggling, you can always sound off in the comments, or you can always DM me directly if you don't feel comfortable sharing your journeys and struggles with the wider, broader world. Anyway, guys, I just want to encourage you. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to say God bless you. Hopefully you have a most excellent day, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. But until then, take care.